if you find yourself in the same position where you're like, the path isn't making any sense. I don't know where I'm going. I feel like I'm stepping off into the void and I don't know if there will be a stepping stone or it will be a massive pit or cavern that I fall into. It's time to build your community or rely on your community. Well, hello there. I'm so excited about our mugs. Oh my God, like it's just so fun. I love that I have like some merch, even though it's literally just for me and my guests. But like if you are interested in a mug, if you're like, Nora, this is the cutest thing ever, I would immediately buy it. Let me know. I'm more than happy to sell some merch. That would be so fun. I feel like the coolest part, honestly, about having a podcast is just like doing fun stuff that you want to. And so if you are watching this and you're like, I would really love one, let me know. Maybe we'll do like a free giveaway. That'd be so fun. Yeah, keep me posted in the comments. But if you are new here, you're listening to the Head of the Table podcast. I'm Nora Riddle. I'm your host. I'm a former policy advisor, former chief of staff in corporate America, and your advisor on all things leadership. This show covers inclusive leadership, how to become a leader, how can you be an inclusive leader? Why does that even matter? What does inclusive mean? What is the world we're living in? What does anything mean? No, I'm kidding. We don't actually cover what the world is, but we do cover what inclusive leadership is, and we do cover how to step up into leadership wherever you are, whoever you are, and however you want to do that. We just give you some I almost said like trips. We give you trips. I'd love to give you trips. Maybe I need to go on a trip. We give you some tricks and tips about how to step up into leadership. So I've done everything from book recommendations to Reddit stories to guest appearances on the podcast to sharing all of my journey from becoming a federal contractor for the U.S. government to where I am today, a podcaster, content creator, and business owner. And today I really wanted to talk about community because I wouldn't be here without you, my community. I wouldn't be here without the friends and the family who have supported me as I've taken this journey, the former colleagues who have come on this podcast and supported me at every single step. Community really is what helps us as humans, what helps us as people. And I think right now, at least in the US, there is a lot of hurt going on in communities. And I know I've made some TikToks about this. I've made like some Instagram, social media posts really talking about how a lot of the horrific violence going on impacts all of us. I think at the end of the day, like we are really all connected, and it's easier for people, I think, consciously and subconsciously to process a lot of the violence as like an us and a them thing. But really one big thing that I learned throughout my career in human rights is the moment that you create an us and them dynamic, whether it's I'm a good person, they're a bad person, whether it's I could never do that, whether it's, really just a scapegoating kind of situation, I think it allows us as humans to be like, well, that's not my problem, or to like try to create some separation. And I get why the psyche does that, because like it's really hard. It's hard to watch people get hurt. It's hard to watch people leave this earth. It's hard to really comprehend that stuff. But I thought I'd talk a little bit about why community matters and why right now in particular, we really should be supporting all of us. If you listen to this podcast and you want to be a leader, it is on you to learn how to support other people and also seek out support for yourself. And so I wanted to say a little bit about some of the violence and the unfortunate things that are going on because one, I'm a human rights expert. I can't just sit around and say nothing. It literally, I'm not capable of it. And two, I think it would be a disservice to you. A key part of leadership is having hard conversations. It is taking really challenging things that are going on and explaining them, having an open dialogue about them, and trying to support people. And so if you're listening and you're like, oh my God, Nora, this is insane. I'm dying. This is so hard. Like, please, you can reach out in the comments. You can, reach out via my Nora Riddle coaching page. You can, engage in other ways. You can comment on my videos on Instagram or TikTok. Like, we can have a discussion about it, or you can DM me. That's totally fine too. I'm always, always, always happy to have conversations about supporting people because you're my community. It's so cool that there are like 41 people listening to this on YouTube right now. And it's so amazing that I have people following me and listening on Spotify. We're also on Apple Podcasts now. It took me a little bit to figure out and to like check all the boxes for Apple Podcasts. Apparently they have like a lot of different stuff they have to comply with. Who knew? But I am so excited to be on another platform. And really a big reason I wanted to talk about community is that I have honestly felt so supported by my community. And the reason it's important to have a community is that, especially as you step up into leadership, or if you're just pursuing your dreams, having people around you that help you, keep fighting for whatever you're fighting for, keep posting videos, keep writing, keep applying to jobs, keep asking for a promotion, continue to like push you towards your goal is so essential. And part of it's because of how the subconscious brain works. Literally, the subconscious brain views any sort of change as bad. I know I've talked about it a lot on this podcast, but we haven't done a little episode on the subconscious brain in a little bit. So, I'm going to bring it up again. The subconscious brain views you applying to a promotion, applying to a new job, writing a book, trying to become an author, posting on social media, anything new or slightly different from what you've done. It's like we're being chased by a bear. A bear! Ah! And you're like, what? Okay, turns out survival instincts don't translate to corporate America. Or corporate at all, whatever country you're in. It's so freaking funny how the subconscious brain works. But the big reason community is really helpful is that sometimes you need someone to push you. And I think that's where I've been, where I really dove into the first season of the Head of the Table podcast. And then I started season 2 and I was really excited after my little break. And I didn't get as many views as I thought I would. And of course, my subconscious brain is like, warning, we're being chased by a bear. And I'm like, no, we're not being chased by a bear. It's just like, we're getting back into the swing of things. And I really needed someone to lean on, and not just like a person, but I needed people to lean on, to go talk to. And I have had so much support. I like so many people who I just randomly talked to. I literally had people I like met on a cruise I went to, and they're like, I'm going to go follow you now. I'm going to go listen right now. I have had so many former colleagues do that. My friends, my family, like everyone's just like, keep going. You can do it. Like my life coach is like, Nora, keep going. You can do it. Like just my hairdresser, like literally everybody I know keeps encouraging me. And I think, like, not even I think, I know if I didn't have that encouragement, I would want to quit. And so if you're in a place right now where you're feeling really frustrated, where you feel like you want to quit, go talk to people. I know it's really scary. I, of all people, know, because I literally get on the internet and I share my deepest, darkest secrets. I, in December, basically started self-isolating. I didn't feel like I was getting the same traction with the podcast. I was getting frustrated. I was feeling burnt out, like this constant pressure to be posting. I'm still like applying to jobs. I'm still figuring out like what my full next steps are. Like this is this is a passion project that I've started and I want to continue no matter what. But like, frankly, I also have to have an income. And I just don't have like a huge income from this. I didn't like expect to have one immediately, but it's still hard to not have that. It's still challenging to be like, I'm trying to figure out how engagement works, how podcasting works, how YouTube works. Like that's really hard. And I frankly in December just like started self-isolating, not talking to people, not doing as much. Like I just literally was like in my pajamas playing video games a lot. And I realized I had to put myself out there. And it's really, really hard to put yourself out there when you're super unsure of where things are going. But this always reminds me of like a quote that I have heard from my life coach a bunch. And it's the like Steve Jobs quote where it's easy to look back like as you take each, oh my God, I'm totally ruining this quote. My bad. It's a quote from Steve Jobs that as you progress in your career in life, you take each step, and each step is like a stepping stone. And whenever you look back, you see a clear path. But you didn't have that clear path whenever you started. You had no idea where it was going to go. And I just want to encourage you that if you find yourself in the same position where you're like, the path isn't making any sense. I don't know where I'm going. I feel like I'm stepping off into the void and I don't know if there will be a stepping stone or it will be a massive pit or cavern that I fell into. It's time to build your community or rely on your community because they will help you get through it. You are not meant to be in this life figuring everything out instantly. You are not meant to do it all alone. So if you find yourself, particularly in the winter months where it's cold and dark and sad if you live in the north, or you are literally stuck in your home because maybe there was a snowstorm, ice storm, whatever we want to call it, it's time to get out. It's time to talk to people, whether that's on FaceTime or, doing a Zoom call with your friends. It's meeting up in person, going on a trip, talking with people, like going to your leadership, going to your mentors, going to people and asking for support is so important. And I've learned this because back in December when I was just like, oh, I don't know what to do, I finally started reaching out to friends. Like basically my friends were like, listen, take a break over Christmas. Like just over the holidays, like breathe for 2 seconds and you'll figure stuff out. And then I came up with the idea of Reddit stories and Katarina came on here, my great friend. And then I've also had so many other people support me, whether they're like, ooh, I have this great idea for you to like go write this, for you to go do this work. Like I'm going to connect you with this person. Like I have received so much support. And that's not to say that I have everything figured out. I absolutely do not have everything figured out, but I do recognize that through finding that support, I, am in a better place emotionally. I'm more excited about filming again and I'm coming up with ideas again. And so if you're in a place right now where you're self-isolating, where you don't know what you're doing, one, you're not alone. First of all, this is your community. This podcast is a community and you can always reach out to me. But you also have other people in your life. And I'm sure that there's so many people who want to see you succeed. And if you don't have anybody else, you found your community here on the head of the table. So that's kind of just like my little piece on community because I think it's really important and I think it's really valuable to have a community around you where you can show up and be vulnerable. If your community isn't that right now, I would encourage you to try to meet with people. Also, maybe ask yourself, is it that they aren't comfortable with me being vulnerable or it's I'm not comfortable with being vulnerable? I have really struggled personally as I have created this podcast going from being a W-2 earner to an entrepreneur. it's not that I don't make money, but there's not like a clear, okay, I get paid, twice a month. I get paid exactly at this date with this exact amount. There's so much uncertainty, and that's a lot to deal with. And I think as we step up into leadership, as we get creative with our leadership positions, whether you're a CEO of your own company, or you're a content creator, or you're a student right now trying to kind of like figure out where you want to go and enter a career and how to become a leader, or you're someone who currently is a leader dealing with a lot of the struggles and challenges of uncertainty in this world right now, it is so important that we lean on each other and we support one another. So I hope that this helps. I know this was a little bit of a short episode, but there are so many great resources out there. And at a minimum, you have this community.